What's up, VC? This is Brad from H2Vinyl. Another Saturday morning recording. Another cup of bulletproof keto tea. And another contest video. This one is for Dillon at Noble Records, celebrating like 7 trillion. Mazzy did 7 million, and Steve Carlson did 7 billion. The only next number is 7 trillion. So there you go. You'll get there one day, I'm sure. Yeah, Dillon, I've enjoyed getting to know you over the years. Yeah, and last year, it felt like around this time last year was your 750 subs contest. Congratulations, man. You're going to go way further than where you are right now. Yeah, because you have stuff for everyone. And yeah, that's all I can say. And I'm wearing one of your shirts. Love this shirt. It's a little tight on me, but I'm doing keto, so I'm hoping I'm going to lose weight. May I make a suggestion? White lettering on blue. I think that would look spectacular too. I like the black though. Black on black, that would look cool too. Anyway, I've got your 7 questions right in front of me on the sticky note on my tripod. Let's get into it. Yeah. First question is best finds. I think you mean ever. So I've got 3. And you know me being a Queens of the Stone Age fan, I say I'm going to mention them less this year, but I seem to be mentioning them in the last few videos. But this one was a legit really good find. And this is their 3rd album, Songs for the Deaf. This is an original. Found this at Triangle Vinyl. Paid good money for it. Paid good money for it. I mean, it 2 different ways. I mean, I paid a good amount for it, and it was also a good deal. Because while I haven't looked at this recently with the reissue that was just posted by Vinyl Me Please 2 months ago, this was going for probably $500 or $600. I got it for less than half. It's on red vinyl. 1,400 of these were pressed worldwide. Sorry, it was rumored that 1,500 were pressed, and I think it was 750 in Europe and 750 in America. So there you go. Queens of the Stone Age, Songs for the Deaf. This also came to mind. This is the first time, one of my favorite record stores is Park Ave CD here in Orlando. And one of the first times they have like budget bins down below the actual new stock that they have in their store. And at the time they were in USPS crates, but USPS said you can't use those. I don't understand why. So they had to replace everything, which cost them a lot. Anyway, I was just digging. I always forget that those are down there. I was digging, and this was not a budget find because it did have a price sticker on it, but I wasn't expecting to find it. And this is Kruder and Dorfmeister, their K and D sessions, released in, I want to say 1998. Man, this is such a great trip hop, down tempo album by them. They work with a lot of artists like Bomb the Bass and Cold Cut, and yeah, such a great album. I remember taking this up to the cash, the checkout, the cash register, where you make your payment. And Tom, the manager, I always used to call him the owner. He's the manager. Tom, great guy, and really difficult to get a reaction out of him. And he did a triple take on this. He's like, wait, where'd you find this? I'm like, it was down in the budget bins. So I think I paid a good amount for this too, but it's worth like 4 times that as well. So there's another one. And then one more. And this is a hybrid find, because I was planning on ordering it off Discogs. And as I found it on Discogs, I found it one with a great price. I don't remember how much I paid for this. Found one for a great price. And I looked at the seller and I'm like, wait, what? The seller was Foundation Records. We have a shop here in Orlando, and I'm good, decent friends with the owners of that shop. And so I called them up. And yeah, I was like, hey, do you have this album by Uncle? It's called End Titles. I found it on Discogs, and just curious, it said Foundation, the name of your store. Do you by any chance have that? And they said, yeah, we do. And I think it was like for $75 or something like that. And this was one of my grails for 2018 that I wanted to pick up. And I think they knocked like 15, 20 bucks off of it, which was pretty cool. Yeah. Really, really awesome album by Uncle. If you don't know of Uncle, not my favorite album by Uncle, but it's up there. It's like the second or third, depending on kind of what mood I'm in. Yeah, Uncle does a lot. I mean, trip hop again. A lot of symphony in this as well. Really, really great album. End Titles. Next one. Best song ever written. And this is the one that stumped me. Because how can you come up with an answer for the best song ever written? And so it doesn't mention favorite song. That one's easy. That one is Paranoid Android off of OK Computer by Radiohead. For me, a favorite song has to have a lot of dynamics, a lot of change in the music, a lot of variety in the music, in the song, and that song has it all. But best song doesn't necessarily mean favorite song. And so I was asking some friends, and one of my friends, Dave, at work, he's a worship leader at my church. He started asking, okay, so what are criterias of, he's definitely a thinker. What are criterias for a great song? And so he felt like it needed to be timeless. It needed to have some sort of impact in the world or cultural relevance as well. And so we started coming up with some songs for that. Ain't No Mountain High Enough. Okay. We also came up with a few others, but I forgot what it was. Anyway, I asked another friend. His name is Adam. He's another worship leader at my workplace with the church. And we started going through like the top 50 or top 100 best songs, Rolling Stones type stuff. And he thought that the lyrics just have to be there, and cultural relevance, like it has to connect with people. And so I came up with this one on my own, because Adam came up with Hallelujah by Leonard Cohen. and a Dillon song, Blood on the Tracks, I think so. Anyway, I came up with this one. It's not a favorite. This group is not a favorite of mine, but I really like this song. And this is Simon and Garfunkel. I really only have their greatest hits. The song that is on here is The Sound of Silence. Listening to those lyrics again and trying to decipher what they meant, I really think it can speak to culture today, because it has a handle on the fact that we don't know how to communicate with each other. And I don't think that has any less significance for today. I feel like we have great means of communication, but yet we're not connecting with people. And The Sound of Silence by Simon and Garfunkel, I think, is one of the best songs ever written. Question number 3, how do you track your collection? And you mentioned this in your contest, Dillon, your contest video. And thank you for that mention. I make these labels. These labels, I think I've done like 2,000, maybe 3,000 of these, something like that. I have a number of these where I just randomly pick numbers. And then I'm like, why don't I just start from 0? Like, I'm not going to reuse that number. Why am I randomly... Anyway. On the label, I wanted to do a video at the computer to kind of show this process again. But I'm recording this just before your contest is over, the Saturday before. And so this is going to be a quick and dirty video. Sorry. This label has all the information of artist, album, where the album is placed in their catalog, when it was originally, what year it was originally released, is an original pressing, a reissue, when was the reissue press, those kind of things. Now I've even gotten to the matrix on side A, the run out matrix, and then also the condition of the album, where I purchased it, and then my favorite tracks off the album as well. Yeah, it really helps me kind of come to grips on what I have. I also ran a database. I want to say the program is called Music Collectors. I forget who it's made by. And I mentioned in the comments to your contest announcement video that I had a funny story to share. It's not funny, haha, but it's, funny, tragic. And I guess I have a PSA in this: always back up your data or data, whichever way you want to say it. I'm an IT administrator, and sometimes I take my work home because for some reason I can't, like the machine at work won't let me do something, so I use a machine at home. And we're a Mac. We pretty much roll Mac at work, consistently. Yeah, that's not the word I'm looking for, but we have all Macs. There we go. And I have mostly Macs at home as well. And I was using the iMac that I type up all the labels with and grade vinyl with. And I was hooking up a external USB drive, and I was planning on erasing it and then installing the operating system and then porting that over to the computer that I was working on. I think there's something wrong with the computer and whatnot, but that it wasn't allowing me to do that on the actual computer. So I was using my own personal one, and it's really easy on a Mac. You just boot using a boot drive with the OS, and then you erase the drive that you want to install it on, and then you install the OS. It's simple when you pick the right drive to erase. I didn't erase the external drive, I erased the iMac drive, which means I erased all my stuff. It's like a terabyte of stuff. And I didn't have a recent backup. I think the backup was several months old, maybe even a year old. I don't know. I was mad at myself when that happened. And now, I mean, yeah, I can smile at it and say, well, I lost data. I mean, I still have labels, like the hard copies of them. But I want to say that, you know, the 2,000, 3,000 labels that I did have, I probably lost half of them, the digital copy. And then the complete database that I had worked with, for some reason that didn't back up. So I'm using Discogs now. I still want to roll something at home, because what happens when Discogs doesn't exist? I mean, these services are available to us, readily available to us now. That doesn't mean 20, 30 years from now they exist. So yeah, I still want to roll my own, maybe do FileMaker Pro, or maybe I'll get back into that music collector app as well. Who knows? But yeah, my tracking is a little bit of disarray right now, but I still make those labels. Anyway, question number 4, the one record you'd never sell. This one was easy to come up with because I feel like myself as a little bit like Scrooge McDuck, and this is the very first, like as he had his very first dime that he made, this is the very first record I bought with my own money, and this is Run DMC's Raising Hell, bought in 1986. This is the album that got me into hip hop and rap. And it was about an 8-year stint of listening to that music pretty much exclusively from 86 to 94. This is my original copy. As I said, bought it with my own money. It's beat up, but I know this album through and through. Through and through. I could pick this album out of 10,000 albums like it, because I know where every pop, every scratch, every hiss, every skip, and yes, it does have 2 skips now. It used to only have 1. I fixed one of them, and I think it had 2 skips. I fixed one of them. I never heard it again, though there was a in between it, like where it used to be. But anyway, definitely would never sell this. Yeah, I've had been listening to this album for almost 35 years. Yeah, I think they did the math right on that. Yeah, 34 years. And love this album. Question number 5, favorite music-related documentary. And yeah, I haven't watched a whole lot of music-related documentaries. Right now I'm watching Jazz that was Ken Burns. It was on PBS. I don't have a physical copy of that, but one of my favorites films, documentary, was Scratch. This was released in 2001, I believe, and it talks about all of the like famous DJs from the 80s and 90s, and how they kind of got into the music that they did, and then also kind of talked about what their groups were like, what motivated them to continue to further pursue their craft of DJing and turntablists, and then they also gave some like tutorials on how to scratch and all of that. Some really big names on this. DJ Shadow won, Grand Wizard Theodore, who was in the Rocket, Herbie Hancock Rocket music video, did the scratching of Fresh in that song. But then you also had Mixmaster Mike from the Beastie Boys, DJ Qbert as well, and yeah, really really cool documentary, really cool film. Others that it had were Rob Swift and Mr. Sinister and Rock Rada, Rip. He passed away of, I think, a heart attack back in the, I want to say 3 or 4 years after this film was made. But yeah, the Executioners, who then went on to do stuff with like Linkin Park and release more albums on their own as well. But yeah, Scratch, really, really great film, documentary of kind of how scratching and turntablists came into existence. So pretty cool. Number 6. Favorite record received as a gift. I've received a good amount of VCLT in 3 years now. 3 years of being in the VC. I just celebrated that on February 11th, which was Monday? Something like that. It was Tuesday, I think. Anyway, so I'm in my 4th year. This isn't necessarily a gift, though I consider it a gift because of the generosity of this man. In October of 2018, I won Andrew's Tales from the Crate, his Broad Strokes contest. He sent me 3 boxes of 24 records or something like that. And I just recently rewatched some of those videos and just had to smile. I'm almost tearing up here at the generosity of him. And last year, I had a contest called the Label Game. And this has relevance. And Robert Z made a contest entry for that. And he showed a Muddy Waters record. And it wasn't an original pressing, but he was talking about the Classic Records label and Chess label as well. And he was talking about just the specialness of this release, and that Classic Records just went under and they don't do anything, and this is probably the best pressing ever, and it's uber expensive and everything like that. And I'm like, I remember saying while watching that video, man, that Muddy Waters album, I've heard it, and it's also one of Andrew's favorites. And I'm like, gosh, I really wish I could have that in my collection someday. But there's probably no chance. And sure enough, that October, I got that album. And not only that album, but that pressing. And it was from Andrew, one of his favorite albums, and one of Robert Z's favorite pressings. This was released in 2001, and it was 180 gram. Later on, they went on to do 200 gram, but the 180s are much more rare. And this sounds phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. And this is probably one of my most favorite gifts from my friends in the VC. And so thank you, Andrew, for this gift. It cost a lot. Thank you. And good to have one of your favorite albums in my collection, along with all the others that you sent. Thank you, man. And then number 7, what is your listening ritual? First off, my listening ritual, anytime I listen to an album for the first time, I make a label. And so I'm listening for the condition of the album. I'm listening, sometimes I know what my favorite tracks are, but sometimes I've never heard the album before. And so I'm listening to those albums that really, like the songs that really stand out to me. Have a good groove to it. Generally don't listen to the lyrics all that close the first listen. It usually takes a lot longer for me to dive into the lyrics. But sometimes the lyrics are so impactful that it becomes a favorite song. Now I have three levels of favorite, and if it's mentioned in the favorites without any special bolding or anything like that, the type is just regular type. It's a mention. It's okay, I really like this track, but I'm either getting to know this track or I'm just mentioning it. And it's not an absolute favorite track. But then if it's bolded, it's that next level up, saying, wow, yeah, I could listen to this track anytime, anywhere. The next level up is it's bold and underlined. And that means, been listening to this song for forever. I love this song. It is my favorite. And usually an album only has one or two, maybe three of those. I noticed when I was doing listing favorites, I would bold it a lot. And I'm like, wow, I need that next tier. And you know, who knows, maybe someday I'll even make a fourth tier with like italicized or something. Who knows? Getting a little ridiculous there. But yeah, so I make labels and I listen to the condition. I grade the vinyl and all of that. That's part of my listening ritual. And then I try to listen to an album or two in the evening. I don't have family that lives in the house with me. So yeah, usually just after my day of kind of winding down, I try and get away from a computer screen by 8 o'clock, a couple hours before I go to bed. But that gives me the opportunity to listen to vinyl. And so I listen to one or two, and normally they're albums that I already have made labels for, so I'm not analytically thinking. And I have two listening spaces. One, the office, where I do all the vinyl grading. That's where a majority of my listening happens. But then I also have in the great room, living room, I guess you could call it too. I have a larger system in there. Don't use it as much just because the lighting is pretty dim in that room. But yeah, I listen to that every now and then as well. And just kind of let the music wash over me. Listening habits in the car. I use Spotify. I have CarPlay, stereo. And so I use Spotify to listen. Normally stuff that I don't know, stuff that I'm learning about in the VC. I listen to new stuff on Spotify. So, these subscription services where you can subscribe and get albums and they play off your Spotify playlist. I hope I never get one that does that, because some stuff I like, some stuff I don't like. And yeah, my Spotify playlist, or my listening list at Spotify, recently played list, there you go, doesn't necessarily mean that this is stuff that I would have in my collection. So yeah, but sometimes I listen to podcasts in the car. Sometimes I listen to audiobooks as well. But yeah, those are the kind of listening rituals that I have. It usually sticks to either early morning or late at night. But like I said, I usually try to unwind with one or two albums every single day. Doesn't always happen. Sometimes chores around the house need to happen and whatnot. But yeah, fairly consistent with that. Well, Dillon, those are my 7 answers. This video has gone on pretty long. But yeah, Hope you're enjoying these contest entries, and look forward to the drawing soon. I know you say you're very, and you are generous with these contests, where a number you'll have 2 or 3 winners, but you might even have more than that. So yeah, man. Thank you for your friendship, dude. And yeah, I really, this year is my plan to get up to the Charlotte area. I want to visit the peeps, the VC peeps that I have in the Carolinas. Digital Gramophone, Local Bandography, you, and Eric Weinbender. Sorry, Eric, I paused on your name. I was still kind of waking up, I guess. Anyway, yeah, really want to get up there, and probably later in the year, maybe around the summertime, I'll get some vacation time, and definitely want to visit your store as well. Yes, cool. Hope your contest is continuing to do well. You're enjoying these entries, and everyone, hope you're enjoying great music on vinyl, and we'll talk to you next time.